Welcome back to Goddess Power Podcast, and I am your host, Prashida. And today we're going to be talking about hustle culture versus aligned culture. So let's just get straight into it. So I'm sure you've heard of hustle culture. I mean, everyone preaches about hustle culture, how you have to hustle your way to your success, how you have to hustle your way to making money. But I don't agree with that at all. I believe that hustle culture is basically a way for you to work your way to the ground to achieve something that will never stick, even if you achieve it, because you are trying to force an outcome. But that's what society wants you to do, because society doesn't want you to be one of the many that do succeed because they know actually how to succeed, but they don't want you to know how to actually succeed because they don't want you to know your true power. So they created hustle culture. Hustle culture is literally to work your way to the ground. And even if you do achieve that success, the success never lasts unless you are hustling, but you're aligned. Now, think about it. Hustle culture is a way for you to work your way into the ground because when you force an outcome, you work all day, all night. You neglect yourself. And when you neglect yourself, you neglect your health, your mindset, then you neglect your loved ones because you come home every day stressed, frustrated. You're not giving the love that you are actually capable of giving, but you can't because you're so drained because you've been hustling all day, every day. But if you don't hustle, then society makes you believe that you're lazy. And that's why you are where you are, because you're just lazy. And therefore, when you do try to hustle and you get exhausted and tired and you get sick, then you blame yourself. But that's what society wants you to do. They want you to work your way to the ground so you can pick up that bottle and drink it every night, so you can binge eat, so you can smoke or do all those things, and then live in a repetitive state where you're always just chasing the outcome like a hamster wheel. That's what they want you to do because society knows the truth. We have the power within us. We can create everything we want through alignment. But let's talk about what alignment really is. Aligned action is still taking action, is still going after your dreams, but different because you're aligned. You're not forcing an outcome. You are not trying to work all day, all night just to force an outcome. And when you're aligned, everything that you do in a week that you would do through hustle culture, you can do in one day. But you first have to be in alignment. So let's talk about it. How do you get aligned? How do you even become aligned? So you can have, so you can be aligned to your dreams instead of forcing the outcome by going the hustle culture way, that route. So alignment basically is when you have all this trauma inside of you, right? We all have trauma at different levels. But when you have all this trauma inside of you, that trauma creates a perception that you see through your lens. So you start to see reality through your own eyes, but the same eyes that you're seeing it through is through all the trauma that is still inside of you. So you're not seeing things clearly for what they really are and what is real. You are seeing things based off of your trauma, your belief system, because the trauma that you endured is what created that belief system. For example, when I was very unhealed, I used to believe that I was basically a nobody, that I was an idiot, that I was ugly, that I was horrible, that I was mean, and that everyone sees me as that individual. That's what I used to believe because all my life the people around me would make me believe that because they didn't want me to know my true power, so they would make me believe that I am this individual, so that was ingrained inside my head. Therefore, I attracted all these individuals in my life as well. Romantic relationships, platonic, career, everything. And so now the lens that I'm seeing from is, yeah, it's proving me right that, yeah, I am worthless because a person that I was dating would make me believe that I was worthless because I believed that I was worthless. So therefore, I would see that I am worthless when I look at myself in the mirror. And therefore, I would attract someone that would also make me believe that I was worthless the way he treated me. And that goes for a career too. I would be treated low, like I wouldn't get paid well, the way I deserve to be paid after what I would bring to the table. Same thing in friendships. I would give all the love, all of my love and wisdom and kindness and loyalty, but I wouldn't get it back because the friend that I would have around my life, they would take from me but not give me anything because I would believe that I'm worthless. Therefore, I attracted this type of friend. Also, siblings. So once I healed that part of me, the lens that I see from now, I actually start to see myself for how I really actually am. The version of me that does have high self-worth, that is worthy of having everything, that is beautiful, that is intelligent. And that just didn't come from a mindset. I had to heal those wounds to now see myself clearly. And when I started seeing myself clearly, the universe started showing me proof of it in my external world that yes, this is you by the people that are coming into my life, whether it's romantic or platonic or career opportunities. I now meet people with the same lens that I see myself as. So therefore, I meet high value people, not low value people. And I'm not calling anyone from my past low value, but I mean, the truth is the truth. Like when you act in a low value way, you're going to be a low value individual. When you treat people horribly, you are a low value individual. When you talk shit about people, you are a low value individual. If you're going to put someone down at their absolute lowest and claim you are someone that loves me or cares about me, but then go behind my back and talk shit about me and put me down on my lowest, that's a low value individual. But I'm grateful for those low value individuals because it triggered me into recognizing the hell I really am. And that trigger started from the beginning stages of my healing journey. And from that healing journey, I started taking action and healing all that trauma inside of me. And once I healed all that trauma inside of me, I then energetically transmuted all that negative energy into the power that I hold now, my true self, my higher self. And now, every time I take steps to go after my dreams, like creating this podcast and everything else that I'm working on, which I don't want to speak about yet until it's actually out there, is now working out for me in the best way possible, as if I was the old version of me trying to force myself to work day in day out, to force myself to record something or speak on something or speak about my vulnerability in my past. I would force myself because I was like, I have to do this, I have to. But I was doing it from a broken version of me. Therefore, I was hustling, I was working day and night to try to be this better version of me on camera. But I didn't need to do any of that. All I had to do was heal. All I had to do was take that time for myself from all the trauma that I endured and heal all that. And it took time. The more trauma you have, the more time it'll take. Yeah, so like I said, when I actually started to heal from all the trauma that I endured, I didn't have to force myself like I was forcing myself before. But when I was healing in the beginning, when I started to heal from all the shit that I went through, I was trying to force an outcome. The minute I knew what I was meant to do in this on this earth, even while I started healing, I started to then right away take action when I haven't even fully healed yet. And when I started taking action, I was forcing myself to be this version of me. And then I would think to myself, how am I supposed to be this version of me when I am so afraid to be vulnerable, when I'm so afraid to even speak my truth, when I'm so afraid to even speak without even like getting overwhelmed or like freaking out or stuttering because I had so much energy stuck inside of me that was, from all the trauma that I endured. And I would feel so dysregulated, so broken. But I would tell myself, but if this is the version of you that you're meant to be, then you have to, force yourself to pick up that camera and record. Because I would watch all these podcasts with men that would tell you that, oh, you have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. You have to force yourself into this version of you. But I realized eventually through my path of learning all this that not everything that I was watching was aligned for me, was not right for me. It may work for some people, but not me. Because I know I'm someone that I have endured too much trauma in my life that I can't just pick up and just force myself. No, if someone that hasn't dealt with that much trauma in their life, they don't have that much to heal. But if I'm speaking to you and you're watching my podcast, I'm sure you've had a lot of trauma in your life. So forcing a result is not the way to go because we're so dysregulated. So when I would try to force myself to be this version of me that I knew exists, it was not working. And it wasn't even the right time because I needed to take the first step. I needed to build the root of this equation, which starts from in here. So I've said, you know what, forget this. I'm just going to focus on healing instead of always making myself feel guilty for always crashing and burning every time I try. So yeah, then eventually I was like, you know what, forget this. I'm just gonna start healing because I feel in my gut that this is not the way to go. And so I started listening to my intuition and doing what was best for me. So I took care of myself, the root of me, which is my internal, like I said, and I started healing and doing the work that I had to do for me to evolve. Once I started healing and I was fully healed meaning like who's really fully healed these days. We're always learning and evolving, but I mean fully healed from that karmic version of me, that karmic cycle that I was in. When I completely closed that karmic cycle and fully healed from all the work that I've done, which like I said, I will explain to you guys in a different episode of the things that I've done so you guys can do the same. But when I fully healed from my karmic chapter and closed that cycle, it's like my energy knew it was time. I didn't even know it was time, but I knew it was time. And when I started recording, it's like I show up as the most authentic version of me. It's like I don't have to sit here and think and get overwhelmed of how I look or how I'm being perceived because I don't see myself that way anymore. I don't see myself in a way where I'm always nitpicking the way I look or feel or how I come off because I know who I am as long as I'm being authentic. But I couldn't be the authentic version of me when I was still healing from all that trauma that I was that I went through. But now, like I said, when I closed that karmic chapter of my life and healed from all that trauma and evolved and transmuted all that pain into power, then it was like my body knew it was time, because I would be acting a different way. Like there would be scenarios where I would think that, okay, if someone pissed me off, especially from someone from my past, I would react. But I didn't even react. I would surprise myself. Or when someone would say to me, I would get triggered. But I didn't. It was like, oh, little things would show in my reality to show me that I have changed. And I was like, oh my God, I really have changed. And I can even feel it in my vessel. All that trauma, all that energy that was stuck inside of me, the negative energy, the trauma that was suppressed, I felt light. It's like I felt light like a feather. Like, what? I'm regulated. I feel calm. This is how it feels. Like, it was amazing. Because when I was living in survival mode, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't even be outside without having some form of alcohol so I can breathe, which is so sad. But I didn't even know that that was the reason why I had to function like that. I just thought that this life was going to be a shitty life for me and this is the life that I'm going to live. I didn't know that there was more for me. I didn't know that I had to transmute all this trauma into power and heal from it because there was a purpose. I didn't know that at that time. But every step that I took and every pain that I endured and every pain that I healed from, it made me who I am today. And then from that moment, when I fully healed, like I said, I can feel it in my body and I can also see myself in little moments not be that old version of me. And then I realized, okay, pick up the camera now, record yourself now. And when I would, now I don't spend hours freaking out over the camera and being afraid of talking about my vulnerability and being afraid of talking about my past and my story and my history and what had happened to me. No, I'm actually very confident speaking my truth now. And every time I do speak on camera, whether it's for this podcast or on TikTok, it takes me a couple of seconds to just make a quick TikTok video that is 2-3 minutes, because I am speaking from the authentic version of me instead of always overthinking. But the reason why I was overthinking all the time is because I had so much trauma suppressed inside of me, all that negative energy that was making me think negatively about myself. But when I healed, it was like those doubts would show up and it would go away. It was like, oh, that's not me. It was like I would be aware of it, like that. Oh, that's not me. I don't believe that anymore. And so now when I show up for anything in my life, I show up fully as me. And therefore, it always works out for me because I'm aligned. And anything that's not meant for me will quickly be removed out of my life and quickly show me that this is not for me. And that's because I'm aligned. So that goes for not only good things for your life, opportunities, the aligned action, but also bad things and bad people that are not good for you. So, like, if I meet someone that I think, oh, I can be friends with this person. And the minute I hang out with this person, it's like, oh, yeah, I feel something, I trust it. And then the next day, either I stop talking to that person or that person just falls out of my life naturally. I don't have to do anything. It happens so quick. And that's because I'm not aligned to this individual, this friendship. Nothing's wrong with that person, but it's just not aligned for me because that person and I are not aligned to be in a friendship. And therefore, that person would just fall out of my life quickly, like the first day. Or we just never would speak ever again naturally. Or like an opportunity when I'm supposed to be, say I get confused about certain opportunities, like, should I do this? Should I do that? And then when I actually just ground myself and ask my higher self, my spirit team, what should I do? My body knows exactly what to do. My body feels it. It feels the direction that I need to go to, because when you have healed from all the trauma, you then know how to trust yourself better because you don't have any negative energy, which is the trauma that you've had, suppressed inside of you to make you second guess the truth of what you already know. So now that I've healed from that karmic chapter of my life, every time I ask myself a question, I still get confused, but I just sit down and ask myself and ground myself and say, what step should I take? And when I take that step, it still might be wrong, but how am I going to know if that step is wrong if I don't take that action? The thing is, the difference is, if I was unhealed and I took that step, that would have been a lesson because I needed to learn that lesson. But now that I've healed, I've already learned my lessons, my karmic lessons. So now every time I take a step that I probably knew that was not right for me, but still I'm learning how to trust myself, so I still go that way, I quickly find out that that's not the route I need to go. And not in a negative way. It's just like something would happen where that opportunity is no longer aligned for me anymore, like it won't happen for me anymore, or that person is no longer someone that messages me anymore to hang out like we initially said we're going to hang out and have our first friendship date. Like it just doesn't happen. I don't have to do anything about it. And that in that moment I trust that, oh, this is happening for me. Because if it was really a lesson, this friendship, that friendship would have happened. And then I would have learned a lesson by recognizing after that this friendship is toxic as hell and this person is toxic as hell. And I'm draining my energy again, being in a friendship that is one sided. But this time I didn't do any of that. The first time this one individual that wanted to be my friend, we were supposed to hang out, she went MIA. And in my gut, I knew that this person was not someone I should hang out with. But I was just like, you know what? Sometimes I can be a little bit too nice still and also not fully trust myself. But if I didn't take that step and still, responded to this person and said, yeah, let's hang out for sure, let's do it, then I wouldn't have known if this how to actually trust myself. So when I took that step, that person actually ended up ignoring me, and that first time we were supposed to hang out as friends never happened. I literally laughed when that moment happened because I was like, oh, I knew it. Thank you, universe. I didn't have to go through all those lessons because I learned my lesson. I already know the truth. And in that moment, that friendship that was supposed to begin never even started. And I didn't have to go through any lesson or any chaos or any dramatic situation with this person. It was just, she was just gone. No response. After she wanted to hang out with me. So that was great. And that has happened many times, not with just friendships, with opportunities and men, to be honest. Because I don't put myself out there with men because I mean, I'm focused on myself. But anyways, so when I started to take aligned action, I don't need to learn lessons. If things are not meant for you, it will fall off so quick. That person or the opportunity will fall out of your life so quick. And now I just laugh because I knew the truth. But how would I even know what was right for me if I didn't even at least try to take that step and say, okay, I'm still gonna give this person a chance, even though in my heart I know this friendship is not right. But then in that moment, within that same day, that person was removed out of my life. And now I'm even stronger in how to trust myself. Now, if I don't make those attempts to at least try, I wouldn't have learned how to trust myself. Or for instance, like I don't give men chances at all because, like I said, I went through a lot of things in my life and the only focus I have is on myself. I did tell myself that I will be open to giving men chances now because I want to be open, but I'm not going to lose myself over a man ever again because I know who the hell I am. So my friend, she's like, you know what? There's this guy that I met and he really wanted to take me out. But in my heart, I knew this guy was not for me. I knew he was someone that was so far from being energetically aligned from me because I can feel him. I intuitively knew. But I just did it because in my mind, my friends kept telling me, like, just go, just do it. You're so closed off. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not closed off. I'm just protective of myself. I have boundaries and I know who's right for me and who's not. And I still went ahead and I said, okay, let's just give this guy a chance. And the minute I started giving this guy a chance, he showed me exactly who he was within the same day. And I realized I was like, I should have just trusted my intuition, but it's okay. At least I attempted. And now I know. Always trust yourself. Don't listen to everyone else. And it doesn't mean that my friends were trying to force me into a situation that wasn't good for me. No, they just know that I'm very closed off from all the stuff that I endured. They know everything that I went through. So they just want the best for me and they want me to be open, not be so closed off. So they were in their mind, thinking they were doing something good and they were. But at the end of the day, I know myself the best, right? If I have worked on myself, I have healed and evolved, then I know myself the best, right? So now I don't ever listen to everyone else just because they think what they think is good for me, no matter how much they love me. I listen to myself. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to sit here and regret it. Like, oh, why did I even attempt to listen to my friends and go on this and talk to this guy? Why did I do that? Or this new friend? No, I learned from it by taking that step, but I didn't have to go through a long ass lesson like I used to when I was unhealed. In that moment, I knew right away when I took that step. And in that moment, I pulled myself back and I said, hell no, I'm not talking to this guy anymore. And hell no, I'm not going to be friends with this person anymore. Thank you, God. And there's nothing negative. I didn't have to go through a whole situation. It literally happened that day because I'm aligned. So when I'm aligned, God will remove that person or the opportunity so quick without you having to go through chaos for it to be removed out of your. And the minute I did that, I was like, no, universe, this is not it. This person for me is not it. I deserve more. And the minute I did that, boom, Guess what happens? I meet people romantically and platonically that are actually aligned for me. That same moment that each situation happened with that friend, that new friend, and this new guy that I was talking to. Because it happens that fast. When you are aligned to who you really are, people that are not aligned to you will drop so quick without any, negative situation happening in your life. But also, the minute that these two people, the friend and the guy, the person that I was supposed to, talk to romantically or was talking to, the minute those two people were removed out of my life by number one, the friendship diminishing the minute it started by itself with no, chaos, no drama. And the minute that guy that I was getting to know showed me who he really was, that he's not really aligned for me and he's not the one for me at all in any way possible. And instead of me sitting there and saying, "Oh God, why me? Why do you send me shitty people?" Instead of me saying that, I said, "Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew this person wasn't meant for me. I knew this friendship wasn't meant for me. I knew this man wasn't meant for me romantically. And okay, great. I learned my lesson. Cool. I should have just trusted myself." In that moment, the next day, I meet people that are actually aligned for me, romantically and platonically. That quick, because I'm aligned. I didn't sit there and say, "Why me?" Because if I sat there and said, "Why me?" then that means I still have some healing to do. But instead, I knew. I was like, "Oh, I just know. Everything that's meant for me will stay, and everything that's not meant for me will leave." And not everything is meant to stay in your life forever. Some people are just meant to stay in your life temporarily for a reason as well. But in that moment, as soon as I instead of fighting the situation and saying, "Oh God, why me? Universe, why me? Why are you sending me shitty guys the minute I open up? Or why are you sending me shitty friends the minute I open up?" Instead of saying that, I realized, "Oh, cool. I knew that this person wasn't right for me. Let's move on." The next day, I literally met new friends and romantic and prospects for my romantic life. Not that I was looking, but it just happened so fast because I didn't sit there and harbor on the situation that had happened. I simply said, "Oh, I already knew that. Okay, cool. Keep it moving." That's it, because I was aligned to who I really am, to my higher self. So if I'm aligned to my higher self, that also means that I'm going to be aligned to the people that I'm supposed to meet and the opportunities that I'm supposed to have. But each step that I take, I have to make the decision to either go left or right or give that person a chance or not. But every time I do make the wrong decision, it doesn't make it wrong. It just shows you how to trust yourself. As long as you don't sit there and play the victim and say, "Why is this happening all over again?" You recognize it and say, "I should have trusted myself." Okay, cool. Keep it moving. When you do that, because you're healed, when you're healed, you will do that. When you're unhealed, you're probably thinking to yourself, "How the hell will I just quickly just move on like that?" You will, because I was someone that was the polar opposite when I was unhealed. I used to question life, like, what the hell, what is going on, what am I doing wrong? Because I was so hard on myself, because all my life I was deemed to believe that I was this horrible person, right? When I realized who the hell I really was and healed from all that, I'm not hard on myself. I'm learning how to trust myself again. I'm learning how to be who I really am now. And that takes time too. After you heal, you gotta take those steps. But the difference is you're not forcing any outcome. You're not forcing anything. You're seeing it right in your face. Like, okay, I should have made this decision instead. But it's okay. Now I know how to trust myself even more and my intuition even more. And the minute I just let it go, the next day things started happening for me. That's it. It wasn't a test. It was more like universe adjusting me to the proper alignments, which is the opportunities and the people that I'm supposed to meet. So I so what I'm trying to say is, hustle culture is a no-no and aligned culture is it. Because when you are aligned, all you have to do is take steps. And each step you take will never be perfect. But the steps that are not meant for you will be removed out of your life so quick. And the steps that are meant for you will come into your life also very quick. All you have to do is keep moving in that direction. Any detours you take won't be a long detour, it'll be a very, very short detour. But when you start to force hustle culture into your life, when you're also very broken and unhealed, that is gonna put you on back on that hamster wheel. And we don't want to be in the hamster wheel. We want to keep moving forward to the highest version of you with the highest opportunity and the highest love and everything that you deserve. So, what you're going to take away from this episode is, if you are trying to hustle your way to your dreams, First, focus on your inner, your root here. Let that seed grow in here by focusing on yourself here. Take those steps, and eventually you will know when the right moment for you is, when you feel like you have healed and evolved. And you'll know, trust me, you will know. And when that moment comes, then it's time for you to take your action. And when you take your aligned action, let me tell you something. Amazing things will happen. All those manifestation methods that people talk about is basically just alignment. So focus on here first, then take the action and watch your life change. But if you skip the main part, the root of who you really are, and you don't plant that seed, and you just work from the external instead of the internal, you're just going to be on that hamster wheel, and you're just going to be chasing something over and over again. And even if you do succeed eventually, which will take longer because you're hustling your way to that dream, then eventually that dream will eventually fall because it wasn't built on a stable ground. So even though working on your inner core will take a little bit longer, it will be stable and it will last forever. And you won't be hustling, you'll be aligned to everything that you deserve. So the hard work starts from here, not the physical. So yeah, aligned culture basically is feeling so in tune with yourself, feeling the highest version of yourself, feeling so elated in who you really are because you don't have all that trauma stuck inside of you anymore. You are free, you are in love with yourself, you're in love with life, and you still have bad moments. We're humans, but you know how to deal with it now. When you have those kind of tools in your life from healing, watch how amazing your life will be from those tools that you learn how to heal from your own wounds in the things that you work on in your life, your goals that you want to go after. You won't feel overwhelmed, you won't feel stressed, you won't get reactive. You will learn how to handle things in a calm manner, and you'll even surprise yourself. I know I did. I surprised the hell out of myself when I realized, like, oh shit, I really am healed, because I wasn't freaking out when things didn't work out. I wasn't freaking out when one thing would go wrong. I would just find the next solution by not forcing the outcome, by waiting for the solution to show up, by being in alignment here and being clear-minded, and then I saw the solution show up. So, moral of the story is, heal so you can take aligned action, not hustle and take action. No, that's not going to get you anywhere. You don't want to be in that hamster wheel. You want to be the highest version of yourself. So, anyways, I hope you guys like this podcast. If you guys have any questions, then my email is in my bio. You can follow me on TikTok if you'd like. I post daily inspirations on there. And my TikTok handle is Prashida888, Prashida888. And eventually I will be creating an Instagram page as well. So I really hope you guys like my podcast, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.